What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Tell Your Friends podcast. This is Season 3, Episode 5, NFL Week 3. Drew DeSalle here, coming at you live from the Bird Street studio. Very special guest. I think he's out on the West Coast somewhere. My man, Denny Blount. What up, Den?
What's happening, Drew? I'm hanging out in beautiful San Jose. Mountains on either side of the city here. It's pretty sweet.
Anywhere near that Levi's Field of Jeans?
You know, that's out there in the middle of somewhere. They just dumped that stadium that nobody shows up to watch games for. It's out here, but everything's so spread out. It's just
I heard
it's a different
tickets
world
are
out
cheap
here,
there.
my friend. Different world out here.
Man, it's beautiful. You're not too far from my boy Ronnie and Gina, the DeSalvos. They're in San Fran.
Ah, I didn't know that. I didn't know they moved out here. Wow.
Well, what are you out there for? I'm assuming something work, right?
Yeah, working some MLS this week, midweek. Normally I work a lot of MLS producing in the summertime, but this time of year I'm pretty dedicated with football, so I was able to squeeze in a midweek match. So tomorrow night the Chicago Fire take on the San Jose Earthquakes
Los
live
Fire.
on Comcast Chicago.
You got the plug down.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
so
Yeah,
it should be
for anybody
good
that
game.
doesn't remember, Denny's does the TV production for the live sports, associate producer, head producer, whatnot, graphics, those sort of things. Jealous as hell of your job, man. It's super fucking cool. I know you brought me in the truck one day, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I love bringing people in there for a little tour. I know you came in post game a couple years ago when you were in DC. We got to have you or anybody else to come in before the game, like right by that last half hour to hour beforehand is usually pretty hectic. It's always a good time. We were in Ann Arbor a couple weeks back, and I had some family that was able to come in and check out some of it, and it was pretty cool to kind of give them a headset and see all the magic happen.
Give us the where you been so far in the college football year, because that's when you say football, you're doing a lot of the college football. What
Right.
where you been at the beginning of the year, and then where you going this weekend?
Well, you said college. I do mostly college football on Saturdays, Friday and Saturday. Friday a prep day, Saturday the game. The first week I was in Green Bay, actually, for a preseason NFL game. Green Bay taking on the Rams, and then jetted down
I do remember.
Right.
Yeah,
jetted
I do
down to
remember you
Iowa
said
City.
that was your first NFL action. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then jetted down to Iowa City and worked Iowa, Wyoming the first week. And then the next 2 weeks were Florida Atlantic and the Fighting Lane Kiffins taking on Wisconsin. Terrible games, all of these, mind you. Michigan taking on Air Force.
Because that's where he's been. Lane Kiffin's been exiled down there to Florida. Is it Florida Atlantic, you say?
Yeah, well, from
What a fall from
Tennessee,
grace.
Oakland to Tennessee to USC and back to Alabama and now down to Florida Atlantic. You know that Last Chance U, that Netflix show?
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, well, so apparently a lot of those guys play at Florida Atlantic. Like the star quarterback is the backup at Florida Atlantic. It's kind of a neat little tie-in. But as I mentioned, so Michigan Air Force game 2 weeks ago. It was good to be in Ann Arbor, close to where I grew up, see some friends and family, and then
a little hometown game for you.
Yeah, and then last week we were at Ohio State taking on UNLV. And it was
Buckeyes.
Bloodbath.
And
it was like 50-something to 21 and 7 touchdown passes from Ohio State. It was off the rails.
And that's enemy territory for you too. Were you wearing anything Michigan there, or like undercover, or no?
No. You got to keep it professional, especially on game day and Friday. I mean, I wore.
I'm sure some of the crew was.
Yeah, some local crew for
some
sure.
Some of the crew was local, yeah.
Yeah, I wear my Motor City hat out, but never will I wear Michigan stuff to another like Big Ten campus for a game. Usually I'll try to keep it neutral.
What's coming up for this weekend? What matchup you got?
Well, so I said I'm in San Jose right now, and I'm kind of going to go coast to coast this week.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I'm going from San Jose. I'm leaving here Thursday morning, first thing. I'll get home to Chicago around 1 o'clock on Thursday, have the afternoon and evening to chill and get some work done. And then I leave Friday morning for Rutgers. And I'll be there Friday and Saturday in the Saturday night game against Ohio State again. And then come back Sunday.
Wait, what? Maybe I'm just not listening to you. What school did you say it was against Ohio State?
Rutgers. It's a college football. Yeah, shockingly, it is a program. It is a school. I know New Jersey, probably have some Jersey fans on this podcast, but not exactly the most luxurious place in the world, at least in my opinion.
That's right.
But
Jeets always shits on it too. He hates Rutgers.
does he? Okay, well, good.
Let me
Yeah,
just
I
speak
mean,
for him.
yeah, it's not a great place. Last year we went to Matt Millen's place as our football announcer, former general manager of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I remember that
Um,
name.
yeah,
Didn't he do
and
some of the TV too, right?
right, he does. Yeah, so he's on our football crew. He's
Oh,
our
he's still
announcer.
doing the TV. Ah, I got you.
Yeah. And so last year he invited us to his place out in eastern Pennsylvania, and it was awesome. Like
Nice.
the guy does like all. He built the entire house himself over the course of 8 years. He's like a woodworker. He builds like beds,
True
dressers, floors, houses, etc. Like
floor.
it.
A true man's man.
Oh yeah, and it was pretty cool. It was definitely the best reason to go to Rutgers. We've
Nice.
been there a couple times, but we've never even hung out there. We either go to New York to hang out for the night, or we went to Matt Millen's place. So I think I'm gonna head
Interesting.
up New York City Friday night for a little bit and catch up with some old friends.
Oh, that's awesome. Who? Well, let's see. Robert Lee, Stacy Giro. Who else?
Maybe I'm not sure if those guys. I'm trying to meet up with Chris Boffey. Do you remember me talking about him? I don't know. He's an old
Nah.
buddy of mine. You know Andrew Rubin? Remember him?
Ruben. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ruben's buddy from high school is Chris Boffey. Good guy, loves football, and always a good time to catch up with. So we're gonna try to catch some dinner
Great.
somewhere in the city.
Great guy. Loves Jesus. Yeehaw.
Jesus lover and football. Sounds like someone from the
Um.
south.
Yeah, so we got Denny. Awesome to have you on here, man. I love getting to talk to you and spend some time talking sports. Mikey Jeets can't be on here tonight. Thank you for filling in. Mikey's traveling, God knows where, doing something better. But we'll get Mikey back on. Also, the power rankings. I don't want to steal Mikey's thunder, so we're gonna leave him off this week. We're gonna bring him. The first ones are gonna come out next week for you guys waiting for them. So we got those rocking. Dan, let's jump into a little bit of news here. All right, so we got one of the big stories I saw is kind of college hoops related, college basketball. I know we're on the football podcast, but did you see some of the scandal things that are starting to come out about this? This bribery and coaches and agents and pro stuff. Have you read an article on that?
Yeah, I scanned a little bit of stuff a little while ago, and to me, it's a little bit eye opening that they all of this is really hitting the fan. There's this news of 10 or so assistant coaches being arrested or along those lines, like under an FBI investigation. Like I always knew, and you would have to assume that there's always been some sort of corruption in college basketball. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. I mean, I would assume most major college sports, football, basketball, especially, but for all this to come down and it ties with agents and shoe deals and everything else from kind of targeting NBA bound players and paying them up front, it seems to be, hey, come play for us. We'll get you set up with a pay for play system and get you set up for the future early on when it's not legal, at least by the NCAA standards. And also now there's some legal ramifications. I'm not sure exactly what the legality is of all of it, but whatever it is, it sounds pretty dirty. And the scariest thing I've seen in all of the articles were it's the tip of the iceberg sort of thing.
Yeah.
And, if your team wasn't listed or school wasn't listed on the original list, I think the schools were Oklahoma State, USC, Arizona, Auburn, I think were four of the bigger ones.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a don't clap and cheer if your name's not on the list just yet because there's a lot more to go in this investigation.
Right. I was just taking some crazy keywords out. It was like an undercover investigation. So I guess they had somebody posing somewhere along the line as an intermediary probably. And,
Yeah.
that's how some of it happened. I saw wiretapping. So, I mean, this was a hardcore, full-in FBI
It was
investigation. Like
3
you'd
year.
see, it was 3 years, is that what you said?
Yeah, 3 year
Wow.
investigation
I mean,
is what I
this is what
saw.
you'd see on, trying to bust, like, a drug cartel or a drug deal or some sort of deal like that. It's on, like, that kind of level.
Yeah.
So crazy amount of attention by the FBI on it. And I think a lot of the, I won't say casual sports fans, but a lot of the people that follow sports or college or they know that, like, yeah, that some of that's going on. it's just, how do you police it? How do you fix what's there? There's always going to be some way to shuffle the money. There's too much money involved in general, right?
Yeah, I mean, you always think there's been corruption, and you would always think there is corruption. I don't know how you would even monitor all of it. Even what they've caught or will monitor or have monitored, I don't think that's the limit. You know, there's always a
Right.
back door somewhere that more money could be shoveled under illegally, or something more than a Bible in the hotel desk drawer type of story. For recruits or whatever it may be is kind of the classic line. So
I
it's
don't want to get
it's
crazy
unfortunate.
into it. I don't want to get crazy into it, but where do you fall on the college athletes should be paid versus not paid?
Uh, I don't really have a super hard stance. I can see both sides. If I had to pick one way or the other, I would probably say that I'm okay with the current system more than
Right.
the alternative. I think that the education is worth more than people lend it to believe. I think that for my sake, if I could have played college athletics and saved X thousands of dollars by getting a scholarship, that would have helped me out financially down the road, and I would have been appreciative of that.
Yeah.
At the same token, I understand that you see your jersey being sold at the local store, and meanwhile, if you're maybe you're hungry and you're not allowed to get a pizza from somebody without it being illegal.
Yeah.
Um, that's a little bit that's a harsh example, but at the same time, that stuff I think does happen, and it's a little unfortunate that you can't receive extra help or that sort of thing.
Right.
But also at the same time, I think it's a little bit exaggerated where to most major programs, top to bottom, you're taken care of pretty well. I mean, working in athletics, I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of, definitely you're getting good meals. You're not hungry, you're not thirsty, you're not in a bad accommodation. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it goes a little farther even than just free school. I think they are taken care of pretty well, but
Right. There
I
there's
do
some
see an argument both sides.
there's some foolishness to it, right? Like, yeah, you can't give somebody something and that sort of thing, but I'm not sure. I still think I'd agree with you. I am more of the current system versus these guys should be getting paid. But the college athletics and even college as an institution is gotten so out of control and so overblown. I mean, there's such an importance for the everyday people to go get that education, and that's why tuition's so super high. And um, I don't know. I think the degree is very important, but there's people that are there for the wrong reasons. Some of the athletes, I would say, right? But it's
Yeah.
such this monster. I mean, you see the attendance they're getting, the TV deals, the numbers. I don't know how you go back or fix it. I mean, it's an animal of a system.
Well, the only issue to me is where do you draw the line as far as what they receive or what they're able to receive or what they deserve to receive or who
Right.
is it? I mean, sure, maybe if you're at a big football program like Michigan or Ohio State or Texas or USC, you're bringing in a lot more money. Your personal worth as a player, maybe more. But to delegate that and to say who deserves what amount of money is pretty difficult.
Yeah.
And if you play for the women's tennis team, no offense, you're probably bringing in less money than the
And
football program.
that's a
So,
whole good point. You're
and
gonna
that's a
get
whole nother
program to
can of worms.
program. You're gonna get male to female things are gonna be getting in there. So
Exactly.
it's
And
interesting.
so that's where it's difficult.
I think it's gonna be one of those like taxes or whatever. Like there's never gonna be a great solution. There's just gonna be maybe trying new things or evolving over time. But
Right. That's
anyways,
a great point.
any other little news or tidbits to poke in here before we jump into some league news?
Oh, not really. That basketball thing was the late blossomer, I think. And I mean, to me, it's been sort of a just another hot day in late September. It's been really hot lately. I don't know what it's been like in Baltimore, but definitely been scorcher in Chicago.
Yeah, it still feels like summer. It's great.
I love it. It's great. Now, hit me up with the fantasy news. Let's hear it.
All right, sprinkle in your tidbits as you see fit, Denzel. We're gonna get into some of the matchups. First up, we got Mikey Viggs jonesing for some ice, named after Matty Ice, versus Bird Street U. Mikey Jeets, not here to defend himself. Not a great start to the season, then, for Mikey Jeets. 0-2 coming into this matchup. So this
Not
was the
good.
bottom of the bottom. Both teams looking to notch their first W, looking to avoid being the only winless team. Viggs, so he finally showed up, right? He finally shows up. Viggs notches the W over Mikey. Got a big day out of Brandon Cooks. He had that big catch to win the New England game, if you saw towards the end, the pass from Brady. Christian Thompson, also running back for Washington, had a great day for him, as well as Pierre Garçon. He actually had a negative 1 point performance from his Seattle defense special teams. Still overcame that to vault over Mikey. And for Jeets had Aaron Rodgers and Antonio Brown, AB. They carried their weight, but just not enough of a well-rounded performance for him. So he took the L, and he's still looking to find that win. Mikey Jeets, come back to us.
Well, here's my thing. One other thing, too. The negative 1 points for Seattle defense. I'm tired of playing defenses. I think in 3 weeks, I'm in 4 leagues, okay? Yeah. I've gotten, I think, more negative point performances than positive point performances from defenses this season for whatever reason. I don't know if that's a fluke or random or whatever, but I think I'm ready to just make it an empty spot and just go with 0 because it's better off than -2 or 3, honestly.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of streaming the matchups, and it's not always easy to call it right when you do that, but it sounds like you got a little managerial issue there, my friend.
It's been rough. I mean, I'm doing okay, but the defenses are killing me.
All right, so next up we got not Theon, Tyreek, which, are you a Game of Thrones guy, Denny?
I
am not.
I wouldn't consider myself a guy, Game of Thrones guy.
Do you know that reference?
No.
No idea what it means. Apparently it's in the Game of Thrones thing, Nick Webb. Not Theon, Tyreek versus Dick's Girthquake, our buddy Nolan. So this was the battle for the top. Both teams come into the matchup undefeated, looking for sole possession of first place. You got Carolina defense special team throws up a goose egg for Nolan. This one came down to Monday night, though, Denzel. I was trying to follow along, and as I'm passing out and falling asleep. And what did we say before we got on here? How big of a day Fitzy had, right?
Huge. I mean, the guy was all over the place. I think he ended up with 13 catches. He
bounced into top 10 all time now, right, for receiving yards?
That sounds right. I didn't see that or not, but the guy doesn't age, He's incredible.
He looked like he was in a prime,
He's the fittest guy out there. He's quick, he's strong, he's fast. He jumps high. He's got great hands, and he's got to be. How old is he? Like almost 40 years old. I mean, honestly,
he's had to have played over 15 years in the league.
It's incredible. I think you're right. I think 2002 maybe he came in the league, but the guy.
Somebody was saying, and it was a good point. They were like, he's one of those rare, universally liked people. Like everybody's always cheering for him. Everybody likes him. He doesn't piss anybody
34.
off.
34. I thought he was older than that. 2004
Gotcha.
NFL draft, but still, the guy is amazing. I mean, really is.
So that was Nolan. Nolan had Fitzy. Dez and Zeke were the players for Webb. So Nolan had Fitz left going into the Monday night. Webb had Dez and Zeke. And you were looking at it like, I could kind of go either way. Nolan edged him out by 1 point with a 30-some point performance from Fitzy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so pretty awesome. All right, next up we got maybe this year versus Aaron's team. So Tim Hartnett versus Aaron's team, which is actually Bonesaw, not to be confused with Aaron O'Dog. So we got Hartnett versus Bonesaw. And Hartnett, Tim, he just cruised through this one. He's had Tom Brady continuing to dominate. And by the way, folks, this is the high player of the week, Tom Brady.
And I know why. Why, man? Yeah, because I got high. Because I got high. Because I got high.
So high. 40 points. 2 weeks in a row for Tim with Brady getting the high player. Tim's actually swept all 3 weeks for the high player with Kareem Hunt in week 1. And Denny, this combo of Kareem Hunt and Tom Brady is just killing people. I mean, these guys don't show any signs of slowing down. You knew Brady's going to be good, but Kareem Hunt comes out of nowhere, and he's like the best back ever.
I've got those guys in 2 different leagues. And Tom Brady was a big disappointment in week 1, obviously. But since then, he's a man on a mission. Like, you don't want to piss off Tom Brady. I mean, he's fucking killing it now. And Kareem Hunt is like, it's Kansas City, that kind of system. They go down with the injury in the preseason, and then they're bringing Kareem Hunt. He's kind of the hot name coming up, but he has done nothing but succeed so far, 3 weeks, and be completely dominant and just fast as can be. Like, you can't even touch the guy. And so, I love having those guys on my team, and I cannot believe this guy has both of those cats on one team. He is definitely sitting pretty.
Yeah, and Tim actually had Jordan Reed, tight end, Jordan Reed tight end, who was a game-time scratch. So he started him still, got scratched in play, and didn't even come close to burning him, still didn't matter. I think Bonesaw's still looking for that blockbuster trade to break his season open. Bonesaw, I don't know, you said you're in a few leagues, Denny. Bonesaw's that kind of guy who's wheeling and dealing. He's trying to move superstar for superstar and 2 guys for 1, 3 for 1, anything he can do to make a deal.
That's a pretty good strategy. I've never really been big on trades. I work the waiver wire really hard though, but most of the time I feel like most players are pretty stuck to the main guys they have, but it's a good strategy if you can make it work. You can get a feel for your weaknesses on your team and see what you can make happen.
Yeah, it's refreshing because a lot of people are more closed off, don't really like those trades. I like to see it. Makes it fun, get things shaken up. I like it. All right, next matchup here.
Rivalry week.
Oh, and we got the new soundbite in here. This is Rivalry week. We got Steve Pedley versus O-Dog, the family rivalry. So Pedley edges out O-Dog in this one. Kind of tight, kind of went into Monday night. Witten just did not help O-Dog enough, though. And a roller coaster week for Aaron. He had Russell Wilson, Stephon Diggs. They both put up over 30 points each. Travis Kelce shows up with 1 point. Justin Tucker, the kicker, 1 point. And Baltimore D special teams, -4. So O-Dog really got crushed for his reliance on Baltimore in this one.
Can't rely on the hometown team all the time, my friend. You will get bit in the rear end.
He was super happy for getting Justin Tucker in the draft. He picked him a few rounds earlier than people were picking kickers. He was pumped up.
You can't pick a kicker anything but the last round. Honestly, I think in 2 different leagues, I didn't even pick a kicker. I just picked up off the free agents. I mean, it's just Justin Tucker. Come on, son. You can do better than that.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder, I didn't look enough. If I was half good at my job here, I'd be looking up who had that Philadelphia kicker. That guy hit that 61-yarder to beat the Giants. And I know I'm ripping open a wound with Mikey on that one, but that had to be a shit ton of fantasy points.
6? Do they give 6-pointers? I feel like it's only 5 and up.
I think it's like a 5, yeah.
But still, that's pretty good for a kicker. But yeah, let's see. Jake Elliott. That's his name.
That's that guy's name?
Yeah.
Nice. Anyways, Pedley had... Go ahead.
Sorry, there's a thing going around about Carson Wentz paying his game check to the guy if he hit a field goal like that or something along those lines. So, yeah, it's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet little thing there.
I know. I think there's more of that. I think there's more of that going on than people realize. That this guy paying this for that, or if they do certain things, or taking care of the O-line and stuff. But, anyways, one last note on this matchup. Pedley picked up Kirk Cousins. Okay, he started Mariota in weeks 1 and 2. Picked up Kirk Cousins on a spot start. It paid off. He went for almost 30 points. So good move there. Good managing move by Pedley. Last matchup to get to here now. So we already had high player of the week. So fucking high. High player of the week. This one, Dunder Mifflin Inc., my team versus Titties Tim Maffett, was the shootout of the week. So this one, I got the high team. I came with 173 points. I sort of had that feeling like, guys, we got to save some points for another week here. But great week all around. Super happy about my team. I gave him a pep talk for the week. I think it paid off.
Well, the coach had a rousing speech at halftime, and the 4:30 games really came through for Team Dunder Mifflin.
Yeah. No, it's hard. How do you come on here and say, gloat about your team? I don't really like doing that, but it does feel good to win a matchup. Was a bounce back week for Odell Beckham. He was out, missed a few. He was my first pick, so I didn't have him.
And he's been terrible.
I didn't start him. Yeah, I didn't start him the week before, and I finally plugged him in. It paid off.
The Giants have been so bad that I couldn't play him.
Right.
And then he comes out with like a 25-point performance or so in PPR leagues, and then makes me look like a fool.
I think the Giants are going to bounce back in general. I think it's just a slow start to their year. I mean, they've got talent. Manning and Beckham have played together for a good number of years. Their defense has a lot of great athletes on it. I think they're going to be okay. Not a great start, obviously, at 0-3, but
Right.
Anyways, I threw Alex Smith in there, quarterback, threw Alex Smith in there, got the job done for a plug and play, nothing crazy. But I did lose
bad.
Crabtree to injury, so I don't know if any news has come out on him. I don't know how in tune if you know anything, Denzel, but I'm not sure yet.
I didn't. I was sort of in and out watching that game. You talking about Michael Crabtree from Oakland, right?
Yeah, yep.
I was in and out of that game Sunday night. It was kind of a stinker, to be honest with you. So, and I haven't really done a lot of NFL research since then, besides just watching the game last night. So, I'm not sure exactly what happened. Hopefully, a guy like that's not out for very long. You love seeing guys with a lot of talent actually play the game and not
Yeah, he's
be on the
been having
sideline
a great
thanks to
year.
injuries. So,
Great year so
yeah,
far.
you got to get him back as soon as you can.
Maffitt had Darren Sproles in this one, and did you see his play? Sproles had a ridiculous injury.
I heard about this. I still haven't seen it. I don't
Yes.
even know if I want to see it, but
Yeah, dude. So
it
he
sounds
broke
brutal.
his arm. Yeah, he broke his arm and tore his ACL all in the same play, and they're saying this could be the end of his career.
I mean, that's awful, you know. And he's definitely getting up there in age a little bit. I don't know. Maybe that is a sign to just ride off into the sunset. I don't know, but that's awful.
Yeah, seriously. A little ridiculous. I can't even just picture being in a knee brace and a cast at the same time. Like, you just got to have people waiting on your hand and foot, literally.
Oh, I know. God, takes that saying to a whole new meaning.
All right, so those were our matchups. Good week, guys. We're going to finish up here a little bit with our Listener of the Week. So this was a close one. I had an either-or here written down because I was waiting to see how it played out. So Listener of the Week, congrats to Nolan. Nolan, you are the Listener of the Week. Yeah, buddy.
Congrats, Nolan.
You get it for being the only undefeated team in the league. So great start to the year for you, and hopefully you continue it. But I was kidding. Hopefully you fucking don't, because I want to beat you. And we'll give an honorable mention to our boy Viggs, Mikey Viggs. Almost got there for winning his first game to stay out of the basement. So good job, guys. Den, anything else to add in here before we wrap it?
I don't think so. Just for all you listeners out there, make sure you enjoy football season. It's already almost a quarter of the way done, and it's one of the best times of the year. So don't waste it. Don't pussyfoot around and do other things on Sundays. Get your tush to the couch and dial it in for some football. Saturdays too. Don't forget about Saturdays. It's good. It's good watching college football.
No
And,
tomfoolery.
Get the boys together, get the friends together, and cook up some quality food, have some brews, and have a good time.
I love it. Den, thanks for joining me, guys. Thanks for listening in. Have a great week. Tell your friends.